Hello, 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 hello out there in Cavland. Welcome to day 673 of painting square buildings. Or something like that. More sponging. Sponge, sponge, sponge. More trying to be under the camera too. Let's see if that works. Yeah, I know. Maybe this is a little too dark. Let me turn the camera back up just a tiny little bit. Exposure control, where are you? One notch. Maybe a little better. Maybe. All right, here we are. In the world of Cav. Painting Cav things. In a Cav way. Turn this down now. Come over here. About there. All right, finally, everything situated. All right. I am here to paint some buildings. Work on some buildings. I think I'm going to put this. So last week and the week before, I think I was talking about how Secret Weapon Miniatures is, I believe, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard they were going out of business, and so I was loath to continue using these paints because I don't think I'm going to ever be able to replace them. And it's a pretty nice little triad of greenish blues, grayish greenish blues. But then I just decided it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to use them anyway to make my life easier. So here we go. Time for some paint. Shake this stuff up real quick. Put a bunch of it right here. I feel like that's got a clog in it. Of some kind. Give me a second to find something to poke through here and clean this clog out with. Yeah, there it was. Definitely something going on there. Wipe some of that off onto there so I don't waste it. Waste not, want not. There we go. Yeah, we're going to use this up pretty soon. Alright. Let's get this sponging. Some cardboard here to sponge, to wipe some of the paint off with. Now we're actually putting in the color, the foundational blue, bluish color, grayish blue. I'm putting this on kind of heavy. I'm actually kind of covering up the previous colors that I put on here. Not completely, but I mean, I'm going at it kind of. Just make sure I'm still on the camera here. Here we go. Yep. Kind of hard. So, Ilmarin. Thank you for subscribing, Ilmarin. You are my hero. I miss you when you're not here. Heyo! So just we're grinding away in my buildings. I watched. I didn't get to participate live last week, but I watched John's show just to see what you guys were up to last week, and seems like he was just working on his MDF terrain. It's it's the season of terrain in Cab apparently. In the spring and in the summer we have action and calves and mechs and conventions, and the weather starts to turn just a little bit, and now we have terrain, which is good. We all need good looking terrain. All right. So what you been up to, Ilmarin? What you been working on? What's life been doing to you? Alright, calling that one blue enough. Blue enough. So I've been doing a little bit of off-game painting. I've been working on some GW models. Not that I'm really playing any GW games, but I like hanging out with the people at the GW store they opened up near me recently. So I've been doing a little bit of that. It's different. There's some techniques there that I want to apply to calves. I mostly paint kind of like a clean style, I would say. And I've been painting up some Death Guard, which are not typically clean models. And so it makes me want to paint up some battle-worn calves, just to get that experience, because that's definitely not something that's really in my wheelhouse. It's not in my repertoire to paint up that kind of stuff. I think Ross is good at that. That's sort of like saying water's wet. Just a little bit. Been enjoying the better weather. Although I'm ready for actual cool. It's been pleasant, way pleasant. Very nice. Nothing to complain about, but I'm ready to need a jacket and gloves. I'm ready for the wind to come whistling down the plains and make me go, ooh, it's cold. All right. So like I said here, I'm just trying to create a lot of variety. So I've got 3 different grays plus the black that's underneath all of this, and now I'm going to put on 3 different blues, and there's actually kind of this this ever so slightly reddish gray that's in there too. And then I'm going to put in these blues, as we have talked about, and then at the very end, just a little bit of actual dry brushing with some really bright Menoth white highlight from P3. Just to give the color just a lot of complexity. Like a stew, like a soup, like a Cajun boil, or I don't even know what that is. So I'm just making stuff up at this point. That's cool. Oop, that's the tape side. Now the front. haven't had any opportunity to play Cav since my game a couple of weeks ago. I've talked a little bit to Dan, my local opponent, about a list he's putting together. It's a pretty cool list. It's got a bunch of bishops. It's a variation on his Hemo Goblins. Just a little refinement now that he's played, more of a straight up game instead of always just, sort of like a learning game. We played and, with the kid gloves off, I guess is what I'm trying to say the other day. And now he's kind of seen, what he likes about the game and what he feels like his list probably needs to improve. So he's been tweaking it a little bit. It's going to be a lot nastier. He's learned what the word amped means. And I looked at his list briefly and I saw a few units with the word amped in their description, which basically means that in his case versus hard targets, some of his weapons were +1 strength, is really what that means. You can buy it versus soft targets as well. So I'm like, all right, Dan, I see you. I see what you're doing over there. I see you. Actually, puzzling out how things work and what to do with your points. It's going to be a much tougher game next time he and I play, I'm certain. Hey, no problem, Ilmarin. No problem. I just assumed you'd won the lottery and moved on to bigger and better things. Just assumed you were doing something spectacular. Honestly, all right, so this is just me. I'm surprised anybody shows up. I mean, you should go hang out with real painters. Talk to Party Bear. Stuff like that. Probably shouldn't punch the table. It's probably not good for the camera's focus. Ooh, shiny, Ilmarin, shiny. Glad you made it home safe. I hope you had a great time. I've read about that place a fair amount, but I don't think I'm ever going to get there. This doesn't appear to be in the cards for me. Stay on the camera. Caribbean. It's pretty sweet. You want to tell us about it? Share your experiences? Did you fly? Did you sail? How did you get down there? Did you take a boat? Plane? So, what you're saying, you're making a comment about how people were able to just get out and be together like in the past. Am I interpreting your comment correctly? I'm not sure what all the words in that sentence mean, but I gather what you're saying is it's a highly vaccinated place, and so people are safe and comfortable gathering together in crowds and things like that. I think that's what all that means. Oh yeah, I mean, I can only imagine it's a pretty place to visit. Or maybe what you're really saying is you're off, like doing your James Bond gig. You know, Blofeld needed to be put in his place, and he had to fight the laser-mounted shark patrols, and just all the usual stuff. Because that would be cool too. Just you can't really tell me that, I'm sure. So just deny it, and I'll take that as the message that yes, you're secretly James Bond. More people than you've seen in 2 years. It's interesting. Interesting. Terrain. I see you're not commenting on my James Bond comments. So what you're really saying is that I've puzzled it out. This was not just let's go hang out with people and have fun mission. This was we got work to do. We got to stop the bad guys. We got to like swing from the trees and like sneak up on people and extract the targets, all that good stuff. I hear you. I always knew there was something about you, Ilmarin. Always knew there was something about you. That's fun. I like it. I like it a lot. I saw the new James Bond movie a few weeks ago. I enjoyed it a ton. I'm going tomorrow, I believe, to see Dune in the theater. I'll probably watch it again at some point this week at home. But I really wanted to enjoy the big, really super powerful theater sound system. Mine's pretty good, but nothing like what they have. So. Nothing like what the theater has, pretty sure. That's all you can say. I get it, man. I get it. I don't want you to lose your license. He has a license to ill. Sure, that's a bad rap or hip hop. I don't know. A bad song saying from probably back in the 90s or something. Anyway, glad to have you back. Glad you had a good time. Glad you got home safe. So the one thing that I learned last week while you were gone was I learned what a lenticular card was. We were talking about the images that I put on the side of the buildings, and I think it was Cthulhu who had the suggestion to go look up lenticular cards. And so, there's sort of holographic-y cards of various kinds, just any kind of card. And so that led me down a path where I had some ideas about more high-tech ways to decorate the sides of the video board side of the building. So I hope to give that a chance. This is supposed to be a little bit heavier than that. Give me that sponge back. All right. Last but not least, I'm going to touch up this one we tried to fake the bluish green on last week. And it's not bad. So last week I was trying to make this bluish green just out of some random paints that I had. And I did okay, but I decided it wasn't worth all the effort of trying to mix these paints up like that. I'll just use the paint I bought. And so that's what we're doing. Oof. Yeah, I didn't know what they were. I had to go look them up. I mean, I guess I'd seen them. I just didn't know what they were called. Never really paid attention to them, I guess. Anyway, that's an idea. The other idea I had was to just get some space art, some royalty-free science fiction-y stuff, and just print it as a photo, and then take the photo and cut it up so it fits on the thing. I'm going to give that a shot, I think. I didn't find very many lenticular cards that seemed like they had the right subject matter for the side of a sci-fi building. But it was interesting. It's certainly a possibility. If I could just find the right set of cards, it would be pretty cool. Whew. Been a long day. Spent a lot of time over the weekend outside playing disc golf, and I went to a disc golf tournament. I didn't play in it, I was just going to spectate. I'm not good enough to play in tournaments of any kind, but it was fun to watch the pros. There was a local high, not a pro tour, but a high tier, I don't know, event that was not a pro event, and so several of the local pros came to it. Some people from Texas, and I'm not sure where all of them are from, but they're all, for the most part, locals. Within a few hours of driving time. So it was kind of nice to see the people I watch on YouTube play disc golf. A few of them play, golf in real person, so I could kind of watch what they were doing and get a sense of, how they accomplish what they accomplish, because it looks miraculous on on TV. They, of course, they edit it. Or edit it. Maybe some of them do post-production stuff, so you see cuts, put together, and some of them do live coverage. But even that is just, it's bouncing back from hole to hole to hole. It was nice to be able to follow a card and just watch people that are really good at the game do their thing. I enjoyed it. All right. I think that's enough of that base color. Just random, sort of nondescript building materials of the future. And so now I'm going to go in and do the same thing with a lighter color, which I'm going to pull more towards the center. And then at the end, what I'll do is I'll take this black color and I'll kind of do like a vignette. I'll just come around the edges to kind of give a little separation there. Yeah, I can still just keep using that. Shake this paint up too. I may try a different sponge for this one. Let's put this old beat up sponge away and get out one of these more complicated frilly bit sponges. See how that works. That's funny, Elmarin. I saw some videos today of cats doing just insane things. It was, Facebook does its thing. It just puts random cat videos in your feed. And the next thing you know, you're like, how the heck did that cat get in that hole? And then, you're late for work and you're like, I'm sorry. I was busy watching cat videos. Which, of course, any honest person will totally understand. So, maybe not really that big a deal. I mean, let's face it, cat videos come first. It's funny, down the street from where I work, they're building a big Amazon distribution center. And so I drive by it occasionally. And this is not the technique they're using to paint, which is amazing. They don't have a giant there with a sponge holding the building sideways while he daubs multicolored paints on it. Which is, I think they totally should. I mean, come on, they have Bezos money, right? They could hire a giant or, I don't know, breed one or evolve one, or whatever the right word is for that. Right. Flip flopping the buildings from one side of the desk to the other. Keep track of which ones are at what point in the painting. It's a sponge breaking off and sticking to my building. Should probably just include it. Meh. Whatever. Cthulhu! How you doing, sir? We were talking about you and your lenticular cards earlier. So Cthulhu, you stopped posting like 60 painted miniatures a week. What you working on? Need my fix of Cthulhu randomly painting an entire army, like in a week. Check the Discord. Okay, I didn't see anything recently. You're saying there's a treat, there's a present, something for us to look at? Let me get this roof finished and I'll go take a gander over at the Discord. Go into the Discords. Oh, look. Speak and you shall find, or seek and you shall find. What are these guys? Huh. How interesting. Gotta be some kind of war game, right? Rune Wars, Wrath of Kings. Nice. Oh yeah, the Rest in Peace sale. I remember that. Yeah, those look great. Those look great. You are a prolific painter. And of that I'm jealous. But you also have more miniatures than I want to have to think about storing, so I'll call that a wash. Yeah, yeah. I've gotten to the point where I don't go check out their sales just because I don't need more miniatures. And I certainly don't need more miniatures for games I'm not likely to play. So, I leave that to you youngins. Go have at it. Buy all the miniatures. That being said, I have ordered some stuff from Miniature Market recently for my wife. She's putting together some Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures, and so we got some from them a couple of times in the last month. But I was able to somehow miraculously avoid that sale. Wisdom, it's a thing. Oh my gosh. Cthulhu, that's crazy. I mean, at least you crank them out. I feel like, I mean, like everybody has a backlog of miniatures, but I feel like you're one of the few people I know in the world whose output at least comes is in the ballpark. It can see the input. You know what I mean? You're not just drowning in miniatures. I feel like you paint really fast and really well, and so I feel like for you, maybe it's not such a terrible thing that you buy so many miniatures. Getting there slowly. Aha! Well, you know, hopefully you're making wise decisions, Cthulhu. Hopefully you're making wise decisions. That's all I'll say. Being married is a skill. You gotta be good at being married to keep being married. It's a strange combination. Oh my goodness, Cthulhu. 3D printing miniatures as well? Good grief. It seems like I just don't I don't know. I mean, I am part of the hobby. I do know what it's like to want miniatures. I'm just like, wow, that is a lot. That's a lot of miniatures that you have access to. You can print stuff and buy it from the sales. Good grief. Again, I have purposefully avoided buying a 3D printer because I don't have a need for one. I mean, there are a few 3D printed models I want. I can just pay somebody to do that. I don't need to have that temptation in the house to be like, well, look, it's just this file's only $1. This file's only $1. These 500 files are only $500. I'm beginning to think you could actually paint a cab this way. You could just go all over the whole cab with this kind of a pattern and then come back, let that be the armor bits and then come back and paint the understructure, the joints, the cables, the actuators. Traditionally, with a brush and, what colors or metals or whatever you decided they needed to be. I think you could do it. Paint the cockpits. I'm very tempted to. I have so many calves. I think we will. So next Monday, I'm going to take a break from painting Terrainapalooza, and I'm going to try this technique on a calf.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Shut up, Google. I'm not talking to you. Good grief. I'm going to have to unplug that thing at this rate. But yeah, I think next week I don't know, I'll pick a cab. I've got a gajillion of them, and I'll just randomly paint one up with this technique. It'd be a nice break. Yeah, I think it might be kind of good. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. We shall find out. Ooh, and then because if I use the same colors from the buildings, I can just stand them next to the building and my opponent won't see them. And he'll forget they're there, and then I can rack up the points. Or no, not really. It doesn't work that way. But in my head, it's funny. Let me have funny. I need the funnies. But yeah, something with some, big, broad armor plate sections. I think it could work. Especially with this sort of natural sponge where it's got a lot of weird, like wicker bills that stick off that we might start using a different part. Maybe not. It's still doing good. Let's tear off a bit. Let's tear off that bit too. There we go. Let's try that. Get a slightly different pattern going. Where are we at? Roof. Yeah, that'll be fun. Tune in next week for calf sponge painting experiments. Anybody have a cab they want to nominate for me to paint? Come on now, Cthulhu. Not something crazy. And don't tell me I need to paint it yellow. Yeah, yeah, I definitely, I think it's a good idea. I am definitely going to do that next week for a change of pace. I'm going to use the sponge technique on a calf. So after I get done putting this color on this building, I think what I will do is I will take a look at the calves I have handy and see what I got to pick from. Yeah, gotta be yellow though. Maybe not this time. Maybe not yellow. Maybe I can avoid it. All right. Tiny little bit more for the roof. All right. Got those guys all sponged up. Now let's take a break here and take a drink of water. It's important to hydrate. Whew, doggy. So yeah, let's see what we got going on over here. All right. So I just happen to have this tray of figures. Uh-oh. Yeah, there it goes. It's just lagging. All right. Never sure if what this thing's doing. So here's a grizzly. Well, that right off the bat, that's got plenty of surface area. That would be good. Some airplanes. A dervish. Another dervish. Somebody like dervishes. Who could that be? A rhino 2. And it's a lot of surface area. Here's a butcher. Huh. Might work on a butcher. I don't know. It's a lot of glass in a butcher. Certainly would work on an airplane, like this dragonfly, but... Ooh, a pillager. That's a possibility. Might be hard to get into these areas where this one's already assembled, though. It's another good candidate, I think. I don't know. You know, so the whole idea with these buildings when I started them out is I told myself, I'm just not going to care. I'm just going to literally grab some paint and start slapping it all over the place. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pick a model or two. And I'll get them cleaned up and primed up and ready to go before next Monday. And maybe we'll just see how many of these guys we can get painted. Now you're going in my rock force. I'm not painting you up blue-green. You come over here. You're going to be part of my rock force when I get around to doing it. Finally, finishing it finally. Man, there's a lot of cool mechs here. Ooh, now there's one that is just, I mean... concussion. That's a good idea. All those are great ideas. What about this? What, Simba? Is that what this is called nowadays? I know there's a bunch of variants, but that looks to me like it would take the... Again, though, the problem this one's got, it's been some... I don't remember gluing this one together. So that's kind of a little bit of a problem, but probably not. I mean, you're not going to look at the belly that much. I could always cut off a little piece of sponge, I guess, and then take my forceps and come in here with a little piece of sponge to get to the bits that are hard to get to. I think that'll work. Yeah, maybe a Simba, just to prove it. A Simba and... What is this guy again? Is this the Imperator? Do the Simba and the Voodoo. Is this the Voodoo? Help me. I don't know them as well as you do, Ilmarin. Simba and the Voodoo. I like the way this guy looks. This is a good-looking dude. That's what I thought. Hey, I made my roll. All right, so those are the two we'll try. Although, to be honest with you, I don't know. Nah, it's just an experiment. I'm not going to try and build a squad or anything like that. I'm just going to double-check this guy, clean him up, get him primered, and then next Monday, we will drag out the sponges and we'll try these, probably just these colors. Make sure I got enough paint. Try these colors on these two guys and see how that comes out. But the problem with that, here's what's going to happen, all right? I can see it now, right? Especially after what I decided to do today, where I said I didn't care about whether the secret weapon miniature or paints were hard to get. I'm going to paint these guys up with these colors and decide I love it, and then I'm never going to be able to get these paints again, and I'll have two models that I can never duplicate the paint jobs on. That'd be just my luck. So I don't know. Maybe I will entertain some other colors. Because it's really the technique that I'm interested in experimenting with. Cleaning up some mold lines here. So yeah, that'll be fun. Very fun. That's something I've been wanting to try. I haven't cleaned up a cav since I bought these little sanding sticks. Let's see how they work. So I got these little sanding sticks, which I've only recently worked with. So in the last couple of minutes while the stream is still on, I'm going to see how they work for cleaning up mold lines on, I forget what John calls this older material. Doesn't seem too bad. Here, this gun has got all the fresh issues. No Exacto has been before me. Excuse me. Seems to do a nice job. Better than a file. Of course, it's finer toothed than a file. Cthulhu, if you're still out there, when you work on all these models you do so fast, how much prep work do you do on them? Are you spending much time cleaning up the mold lines? I'm curious, because if you've got a technique for doing that fast, I would love to learn it. Me and mold lines don't like each other. I've never painted one of these before. I think this is a voodoo. I've never actually. I don't know that I've owned one before or messed with one before. Is perhaps the right way to say that. This is a pretty good model. Gosh. Just a regular hobby knife, Cthulhu. You're not using one of those fancy GW, whatever they call those things, scrapers. I never find the mold lines until after I primer, and then I see them everywhere. Man. Yeah, okay. That's good to know. It's in some ways it's a validation of the way I do things. I was worried you were going to go, "Oh no, James, use widget X from brand Y and mold lines disappear like in seconds." Like, how the heck have I not known about this? But at the same time, I kind of wanted you to tell me that so I could get over doing mold lines. Gosh, I hate mold lines. Occasionally gets to the point where I'm just like, like partway into painting a model. I've got real paint on the model, not just primer, and I find a mold line. I'm just like, I don't care. I just can't be bothered to fix it. Even though secretly part of me wants to. Well, gentle beings, the 9 o'clock hour approacheth. I'm excited for our little experiment next Monday, so if you care, if you want to, join me. We will see if we can discover whether sponge painting works on calves or not. Hopefully it will. That'd be fun to find out. Something new and exciting, maybe with some speed. All right then, 9 o'clock. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your input and your conversation. I appreciate all your service you provide in Her Majesty's service there, Ilmarin. Please, next time you have to go to the Caribbean, be safe and make sure you bring extra Q gadgets to make your life easier. Cthulhu, as always, admire your painting volume and quality. It's incredible. Join John Wednesday night. I don't have any idea what he's working on, but I'm guessing it might be an MDF building. Possibly he might have some dual cast news for us. Cross our fingers. And then I'll be back next Monday with sponge painting calves. Be good to each other, folks. Thanks for joining me. I am signing off. Good night.